Hello everyone. So now let's come to our basic application in React.js. We will create a simple movie application. We will see how we can list items, list movies, and how we can add a new movie in using React.js. And we will cover the basic concepts in React.js like state and props and callbacks. And it will cover a lot of components, a lot of features that we have already covered in our series, and you will get a hands-on practice of how you can use them in an actual application. So let's dive into it. So this is going to be a read. This is going to be this is the application flow which we are going to follow, and let's just see the output. So this is the application that we will be building. So you see there are two movies, and there's this form which we can fill, and when we click on add movie, it will add a new movie. We can see a demo over here. So we can put anything like that, an image URL. Let's say we can copy the same image address, but you can change it as well. And we can say, for example, we can put any URL of the movie, and when we click on it, you see it is created, and it's the movie name, and it's a category that we put, and the image, and we can click on watch now. It will take us to the new URL, which can be a URL to the movie where we can watch the movie. It can be Netflix or anything like that. All right. So yeah, so let's just create this application in React. So here is this article that we are going to follow. So basically, setting up React application, make sure you have installed Node.js, and you have to run npx create React app movie app. So let's just copy it, Control C, and let's open up the terminal. And we can run this command. It will create a folder called movie app, and it will install it will create a basic React application for us. So let's just resume when it is done. Yeah, it is installed our application, and now we have to do cd movie app, enter, and we can do npm start, or otherwise we can also open this application in VS Code first, and from there we can uh, open run this project. Now our VS Code is open. We can open a new terminal over here, and we can, yeah, we can run npm start over here. So yeah, the localhost 3000. Now it's running. It's the first page that you will see when you will run your application. So now let me just take uh, this README file from here. So yeah, I have taken this README file, and I have updated my README file over here. And here I can see the preview because I have an extension installed in it. If you can see my extensions section, and let me show you over here. You can do README preview and or markdown preview. You can see, you will get the extension, and you can download it from here. So yeah, this is the extension that I have downloaded. So here you can see whatever it is in the README, it will show you right over here. Okay, so we have done with this step. We are done with this step. Now we are on cleanup. We will remove every file inside SRC except index.js, and we will also add an index.css file using this code. So let's just do that quickly. We will not need all of these files. We can remove them. I'll just take that file back, index.js, and I will need this code web vitals as well. Can remove that, and I will for index.css, I will use this CSS over here. Copy it, create index.css, and I will paste these styles. Okay, and we will also need an app component, and we can use RFCE to create this app component. And as I mentioned, you need uh, ES7. If you write ES7, you will get this extension ES7 Plus, which has around 8 million downloads. You will download that, which will let you write these shortcuts to create components. And let's just save it. And now let's see how our app looks fine. There are no errors in this in the logs. Let's go to our Chrome browser and see, yeah, app is over here. Okay. So now we are going to work on our, let's just give it the heading title first. We will remove this app over here because we are going to add a movies component over here, which we will define in SRC. We'll create this component, movies.js. And here we will again use RFC shortcut to create this basic component. And we will put our heading over here and my movies app, and I'm giving it a class main heading, and let's save it and let's see how does that look. And let's go to our app.js and save it, and also make sure you import it correctly. And now let's go to Chrome. So yeah, my movies app is showing up, and let's reload it. Okay, so here now we are going to create our movies list showing up over here. So yeah, so as you can see, I am using this default class name. This the styles behind this class name is written in index.css, so you don't have to worry about it. Whatever is written over here, these are basic styles. And you know, we use camel case in if we write styles over here, text align and margin top. But if we use index.css, we can use simple plain styles. Okay, and since we are importing it in app.js in sorry index.js, it will be applied in every class in every component that we have inside app, or basically the children of app. They will all have these styles available. So if I am using main heading class name, so it will try to find main heading over here. It must be written somewhere over here. Let's see. So yeah, here is this main heading, and here the all the styles are applied over here in the normal plain CSS format. So now we are over here. We need to create. We can go over to our documentation. And yeah, this CSS is imported. Now our step two is creating movie list component. So we have added this movies.js, and so we will create a movie listing component, and we will have our data in data variable, basically all the movies data, and it's going to be an array, and we are going to use state hook in React, and we will pass this data to movie listing component. Okay, so and then this movie listing component has access to this data as props, and we are destructuring it inside at the function level, and we are mapping looping over it to render this data in a movie card. And that movie card is another component which basically does some markup. It's a basic HTML structure. So this is basically, you can see a great example of reusability. So whatever the movie is, so if we are looping over it, so movie is going to be a new movie every time. So it will come from this data. We have, for example, for now only one, but we can have multiple movies. So every time this movie variable will update, since this is a like a for loop, you can say a map is kind of a for loop, and we are passing this variable to a movie. And then this movie will this movie card, it's like instead of writing movie card 10 times, we are doing a map which is like a for loop. And then it's just rendering this image over here at the first, and then there is this category movie dot name, and then there is this movie.link, which is in an A tag. So here you can see this is an example of using, and you can see that in React we have to use a key as well when we use map. So basically you can see that here we are also it's a simple HTML, but whenever you want to use a variable, a JavaScript variable, you need curly brackets like here, like here, like here. So this is basically what JSX is. You can basically mix HTML and JavaScript together. All right. So now what we are going to do is we are going to create this movie listing. So we are going to create movie listing, and we will again do RFCE to create the basic component. And here we will call this component over here. So you see it's auto imported. If it doesn't, you have to write it. You have to make sure that it is auto imported. If it doesn't, you will have to write this manually. Okay. So dot slash means you have to look for this component inside the same directory where it is. If it was dot slash, then it will go one directory back. Okay. So we want our component is in the same directory. So we are using dot slash only. Okay. So if we go over here, and we need to pass, you can see as per our article we need to pass this data over here, and we have to create this use state. Okay, so you see we can create this, we can copy this, and just make sure that this dot means there can be more movies, more data. So we have to remove it when we write it. Okay, so here is our movies, and our use state comes just before the outside the basically return. Okay, and these are going to be our use state variables. Okay, I copied it everything, so I don't have to write it again. And you see use state should be imported over here from React. Make sure it is imported, and we have to remove this, and we can add more data over here. So basically this data is not being used because we are not this is gray underlined because we are not using it. We can pass it to our movie listing component, and set data and data. How the user state works basically, as I have mentioned in my user state video as well. It basically in this way we have data and set data. This is the whatever we write inside it. It's going to be the initial value of data. But if we want to change the value of data, we will use this set data in as a function. Okay, whatever we write inside it, the data will get its value, updated value. And why we do that? Because React, or we do not use normal variables. We always use state when we want to create variables, so that React can look into it and update the areas where on every render where these variables are being used. So that's basically the power of React. So it already automatically watches the variables and update them. That's why we use user state. So now we have data is equal to data, and now we can work on this. So here it's basically received as props, and now we can do const data is equals to props dot data. Okay, so this is same. You can do console dot log data. Okay, so let's just see this data is logging on console or not. Okay, this is a movie listing component, and let's come over here, and you see data is over here. Part yeah, we didn't write this data over here. Okay, so yeah, here you can see here is an array, and here is this our first movie over here. Okay, so another shortcut is, so I can do it like this, or I can do it like this. Const data is equal to props. If I do it like this as well, so they both mean the same thing. Again, you see, again it is showing me the same thing. Okay, so now so instead of doing this, I can destructure it right inside the parameters area. Okay, so if I reload it, clear it, and reload it, I see it over here. So the basically when I reload, the logs are not getting cleared. That is because I have that is because, let me zoom it. That is because I have set this preserve log. I have take this preserve log. It will keep them saved. Okay, whenever I reload it, it does not go away. All right. So now let's just go forward from here. Let me zoom it as well. Now I can remove this. So I have data over here, and now I can move loop on movies over here. So let me go over to the code. where I can map over these movies. So the code is like this: return. We are going to use a movie card component, and here we have it. Now we need to create this movie card component, but let's just say we can create a simple H1 component, and let's say we can call it movie.name. Okay. So yeah. So yeah, you see, it says dot. So now, what happened over here is since we have only one movie in data, so it's showing one. So let me add more movies in it. Can you guess where are we going to add more movies? So basically, this movie listing gets data from data. So this data becomes a prop there, and this data is coming from this. So we have to add more movies over here. So just give me a minute so I can add. So I have added these more movies over here. So let's go to our browser. So you see, we have now more names over here. I have added these movies. So these are the names, and you can see we get an error. Each child in a list should have a unique key prop. This is basically a warning, and you will see this warning in React when you will use a map and you don't use key. Okay, so in movies, we have this map and we are not using a key over here. So we can use this key, something like that, and we can do movie.name and it has to be unique. So now if I reload it, let me clear it. If I reload it, the error is gone. And if I don't put this key and I clear and reload, you see this error is coming. This error is shown. So now you can see that we have to, this key basically is required to identify each of the element in map to differentiate them. So React later can update the specific one, otherwise it will update all of them. So that's basically the requirement of React, that you have to put a key. Okay, so now we have to make it so similarly. So we are here, instead of writing h1 we can write a div and we can write other markup as well. So let's just try doing, let's just do that. We have a div over here, so you see this, we can put h1 for this, and then I can do p, and I can do movie dot category. So in this way, you see this movie and then category, that's comedy, that's thriller, that action. So in that way, I can add the other markup as well. I can add the IMG as well. And we know we need to change the SRC of that. So similarly, I can add all of it, and I will add, and we need to do some styling as well. So let me just quickly do that markup, and which will have classes, and with these classes, we'll get the CSS from over here. So let me just quickly do that. And of course, we will use it from our README file. We will use this markup over here. As you can see now, there is this, first we need img, then we need category, then movie name, and then link, and this watch now will take us to the link. Okay, so let's, if we can quickly copy it and paste it over here. And similarly, as you can see, we are using map, so hence we are using a key over here. Now let's just save it, go over here and clear it, and you can see now these movies are showing up. Okay, all these movies are showing up, and these are getting, this is basically the same data that we had movie.id. You can see dark and Stranger Things and Faith here over there, and drama and comedy and thriller are the categories. Now let's just get rid of this movie listing text that's looking very off. So yeah, that's gone. So now, so we are done with the movie listing part. So I don't think there is anything complicated. You can see this is just card. These are the class names. This is basically the class. We use class name instead of class in React. And this is the alt tag we put in an image, which is a good practice for accessibility. And then we have class name for some category and for the category. And we have movie dot category as a variable. So hence we put it in a bracket, and again the movie name in bracket, and the movie link as an a tag. And we have a button watch now, which takes us to the link in a new tab. Okay. So if I click on it, it will open the new tab. Here it's taking me to Netflix. All right. So yeah, let's get back. So now here we can move forward with our article. So we are done with our step 2. We have used user state and the movie listing. So it's basically just mapping over these movies. And We have added this markup. Now step 3, adding new movie form. So now we need to add a movie. So we will create a form, and when we submit the form, we should get a new movie rendered in this component at the end. Okay. So how are we going to do that? We are going to need a new form. Uh, and we will update basically, we will first update our movies.js, because you see our movies are present in movies.js. The data of movies is present in movies.js, and we have to use set data inside movies. So we have to create a separate component at movies. So but we need to pass, we have set data in this movies component. So basically from a child we need to update the data from movies. So if you want to do that, we have to use, basically we have to pass that data to our child. We have to pass some function to the child so that it can call and update our parent state. So that's basically a common interview question as well. How do you update the state of a parent from a child component? So you do that using callbacks. So basically callback is nothing but uh, passing a function to a child component, so that child component can call it and update the state in the parent component. Callback is simply passing a function. Callback is nothing else. But how do you update the state of parent from child? You will just have to you have to pass a function. You have to create a function in parent which will update the state in parent. But this function will not be used inside the main parent component, inside the movies.js. However, it will be used in the child component. This is going to be our child component add movie. We will pass this function to this add movie component, and it will call it whenever it wants, and it will pass this movie, and it will update our data. So, and how it is doing it, it's basically taking all the data that's previously available and adding a movie in it. So you see this is destructuring. It's basically destructuring all the data previously that was present inside data variable, and then adding at the last, adding another item which is movie, which is being passed, which will be passed. And how and can you guess where will this movie data come from? Yes, it will come from add movie component. So yeah, so let's just update this and add this handler. This is going to be our event handler. Let's me do control C, command C, and this is going to be our that will run whenever we hit submit or add a new movie. Okay, so let's just add this. We have to create this outside return as well. So we have added it, and we create a new add movie component. So let's just create that quickly as well. And we will do RAFC E, and we will render this users component in movies.js, and that will be above our movie listing, and we can pass add movie. So this is pass just like a normal data. Here we pass the data, and we are passing a callback, a function basically, which is a callback. So that means the same thing. So now it's passed in the same way as props. So similarly, so yeah, and but this method is basically actually updating the state of parent, because we are using set data, which will basically update this data variable, because we are using use state. So now you see how the dots are connected. So now we can go to movie listing, sorry, add movie, and write our code. So let's see what does our article says. So we have updated this. Now our add movie component, what will it have? So it will have a handle at function, which will run when we submit our form. We will create a form, and this function will run on submit. And then what am I going to do is, this is going to be my input variables. All of this is plain input variables. This is the on for image, for movie name, for category, and for movie URL. These are plain HTML, and this is a button type submit. But you see one thing is fancy over here, which is value and on change. So you have to see this. These are the state variables, image src and sat image src. These are the variables that I will need. I will use. I will create using use state. Okay, so and then there is this name and set name, and then there is category and set category. These all are use state variables. So let me just create these variables quickly in our add movie component. For example, I will go over here, const name set name is equal to use state, like this. So yeah, let me add for other variables as well quickly. Yeah, I have added this. Now it gives an error in the console as well, that user state not defined. If I remove a character and add it, So it's giving me a suggestion to import it. If I click on it, it will import it automatically. So yeah, you see it hasn't been imported. Now these gray areas or yellow underlines means that we have not used these variables. So let's just copy our markup from our documentation. You see now we can, let's just copy this, return everything inside it, and we copy it. Let's replace it over here. Sorry, in our add movie component. I think we messed up with the package. Oh, with the ending div. So yeah, I think it's okay now. And then it requires a handle add function. So let me just remove it for now, and let's see what how does it look now. Okay, now it's good. It's looking better, and I can add some URL. So yeah, I can add this, but it will not do anything. Add movie, because we haven't added our on click handler. So let's just undo it. So this is our handle add function, and we will use the definition of handle add from our documentation. So what does it do? We will copy this. Let's go over here. So yeah, add movie is basically coming from as a prop over here. So we have to take it. We can use the props over here, and we can do const add movie is equals to props dot add movie like that, or I can destructure it directly over here. Okay, so like over here, let me make a backup of it as well. You can see I can do add movie over here as well. So if you use the above method, props, then you have to do props dot add movie. If you use this move method directly destructure it, so you don't need it. Now you see name and imgsrc and category and link. These are these variables which will be updated automatically whenever you start typing in it. So whenever you start typing, auto target value gives us whatever is being typed, and we do set image src. So this will update the value of img src. Similarly, if you whenever you start typing in the in the movie name variable and the movie name input field, it will update the value of name because we are using set name. And here we're using set category to update category, and here we are using set link to update link. So now let's try that. Now let's add some URL. Let's take the URL of this image because it says enter image URL, and this is the movie name and movie category. We can say fiction, and movie URL we can say Netflix. And let's just add this. So you see now here we have this movie being added, and now I want that whenever I click on it, this form should clear. So how can we do that? So handle it, and you see there is this e dot prevent default. You see we have this e. Why do we have this e? Whenever if you can see, you can check my event handlers tutorial. There you will see that we need event handlers. There you will see that e is already provided in on change and on submit cases. In on change cases, e dot targeted value will have access to this value of whatever being tagged, and in case of on submit function, it has e, and we can use it to use e dot prevent default. And what does that basically do? That basically prevents from loading our page. So usually the behavior of form is that it reloads the page whenever we submit it. So we do e dot prevent default. It basically stops reloading on form submit, prevents, stops default behavior. So basically this is the default behavior of a form in HTML, that it will reload the browser. So we're saying to stop, we are asking it to stop the default behavior. So we use either prevent default, and we just do add movie, and it will automatically react automatically on runtime, adds this. So it re-renders our component, okay, without reloading over here. Okay, now we can do let I can do everything to be empty. So I can do it like this: set name to be empty, set imgsr to be empty, and set category to be empty, and similarly set link to be empty. If I do this, so well, basically I'm using ptr, so change single limit comma to double. You don't have to worry about it. You can use both single or double. So now if I click a new movie name to, and I can use this image URL over here, and I can go to netflix.com. Let's go over there, or I can do it hbo.com. And yeah, so these right now we have 6 movies, and let me add a new one. So yeah, the data is gone, cleaned, and we have also the new movie being added. Okay, and if I click on watch now, so I am going to hbo.com. Okay, sounds good. So now let's go back and here over here. Yeah. So yeah, so I guess we are done over here. So basically, this is how you can work with. You can create a basic React application. Now, as a challenge, I can give you a simple task. You can add and edit and delete functionality over here. Or don't worry about the CSS and styling and all that. You just focus on the functionality. Okay, and keep it a single page application. Don't worry about multiple pages for now. And so yeah, I guess in fact for you should go for Next.js uh, because that's a new and very powerful framework of React, or any other framework if you want, but Next.js is highly recommended. And because the routing is taken care by Next.js itself, so you don't have to worry about React Router DOM. That variable is not required for Next.js or any other framework. So yeah, but pretty much all of this what we learned is will be useful in Next.js as it is. It will all be required and all be used. Okay. So yeah, I guess that was it. That was about how you can create a basic React app, and we covered a lot of important components and concepts of React.js. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and share this video with others. Also, I have a Discord community, and I have shared the link in the description. Do join that community to learn with like-minded people, and I share a lot of updates over there. And so yeah, and figure out, and yeah, you will see there is a lot of fun stuff going on in Discord. I'll see you there, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye. Take care.